Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this session of Quispamsis Town Council for September the 2nd. I'd like to call this meeting to order. May I have an approval of the agenda, please? Moved by Deputy Mayor Scryer, seconded by Councillor Miller. On the question, please vote. Anyone's not coming up?
Councillor Donovan.
Councillor Donovan, are you okay? He said yes. Motion carried 7-0. I want to begin this evening with a couple of remarks. First of all, I'd like to thank Deputy Mayor Scryer for filling in last meeting on August the 19th. I heard that it went smoothly, no hiccups. That's all great. Last week, Deputy Mayor Scryer and I also attended the Cedar Ridge Water Main Open House, which took place here to give residents information about water that's going to be brought on to Cedar Ridge. The turnout was tremendous. I think there's about 61 houses, and there was probably over 40 people who attended. So always nice to see community involvement. I would also like to thank everyone in our community for helping our region remain safe from forest fires by respecting our guidelines implemented in partnership with our emergency responders and those put in place by the New Brunswick government. We took measures to protect Quispamsis as unprecedented dry conditions continued for most of the last several weeks, and if today's any indication, it looks like they're going to continue. All parks and trails are now open in Quispamsis, but a burn ban remains in place across the province, meaning no fires, campfires, or open fires of any kind. Just monitor our website and social media pages for any up-to-date information in our region and follow the Government of New Brunswick Fire Watch for provincial updates. And have you tried KV Go? KV Go is a demonstration project that is providing free public transit in Quispamsis and Rosse to destinations throughout the Kennebecasis Valley. The service runs daily starting at 8:30 a.m. You can find route and schedule information at www.kvgo.org and take our ridership survey as we look towards a long-term transition solution to transport in our region. As councillors, we receive feedback every day about how we can make our community better, and sometimes little changes make big differences. Earlier this summer, we received a request from a resident to have a handrail installed on a ramp inside the changing area for the 97.3 The Wave pool at the Qplex. Staff assessed the request and installed the handrail within a matter of days, improving safety in one of our most popular facilities. So you can provide your input as well. So visit the Have Your Say page on our website and submit your comments. Or if there's an issue with town property, like a pothole or drainage concern, you can submit a service request through a Report a Problem link. And Rail Safety Week is September 15th to the 21st across Canada. Last year, there were 261 railway crossing and trespassing incidents, resulting in 68 avoidable fatalities and 58 avoidable serious injuries. Visit operationlifesaver.ca for more information about rail safety. A couple of more things before we close. I just want to thank our tremendous summer student employees who served the town well this summer. We had more than 20 students working alongside our staff this summer doing very important work in our community. The students have left us now, and the town is back to its regular daily workforce. Good luck to all of our students as they resume their studies. And finally, a brand new school year has started today for many students and will start this week for many more. I want to wish everyone a safe and wonderful academic year, be it your very first day of school at kindergarten or the very first day of your last year of graduation. It is so refreshing to see young people heading to class again. I'd like to remind motorists to drive with caution, remember to slow down in school zones, that's the law, and watch for young students who may be walking to and from their educational facilities. So with that, we will move forward. And first we have the land acknowledgement. Councillor Miller, please.
Thank you, Worship. We would like to respectfully acknowledge that Quispamsis exists on the traditional, hang on a sec, sir. Sorry, when you get hearing aid, your phone rings in your ear. It doesn't work well. We would like to respectfully acknowledge that Quispamsis exists on the traditional territory of the Wolastoqey, Maliseet, and Mi'kmaq people whose ancestors, along with the Passamaquoddy tribes, signed peace and friendship treaties with the British Crown in the 1700s. We would also like to take a moment to pay our respect to the elders, past and present, and the descendants of the traditional territory. In May, we remind ourselves of the important work we have before us tonight. May we make good decisions without prejudice or bias and always in the best interest of our community, which we are here to serve.
Thank you, Councillor Miller. Looking for a disclosure of interest. If there's anyone who has conflict, please let me know so you can remove yourself from the room at that time. There are none. Presentations, there are none. Public hearings. Minutes of the previous meeting, August 19th, 2025, regular meeting. Deputy Mayor Scryer.
I would move the acceptance of the minutes.
It's been moved by Deputy Mayor Scryer, seconded by Councillor Donovan. On the question, please vote. Motion carried 7-0. Unfinished business, there is none. Correspondence, none. Bylaws, none. New business. 11A, we'll go over to the Director of Engineering, Department of Transportation and Infrastructure, Provincial Municipal Highway Partnership, PMHP, Program 2028 to 2030. Staff report from the Director. Mr. Loge, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Earlier this month, or actually I guess it would be August, we received a request from the province, the Department of Transportation, for an updated to our requests for the designated highway program. If council will recall, next year in 2026, we will be receiving $1.8 million from the province for work on the Hampton Road. What they've done is they've narrowed down their window of planning to a 3-year program now, where 2026 is accounted for. 2027 is already in their books. We were not successful in obtaining any money for 2027. We had identified the intersection of the Hampton Road at the Palmer Brook as a continuation of our work on the Palmer Brook Road. So we didn't receive any money. So what we've done is we've reassessed the plan from 2028 to 2030, updated the costing estimates to add a year of potential cost, and resubmitted for council's approval a 2028 to 2030 program that starts with the Hampton Road intersection at the Palmer Brook as our priority, being submitted to the province. As you will see, we are still maintaining a contribution from the municipalities. We have the ability to submit a plan without contribution, but we've been advised that if you don't put any cash up front, they don't usually look at those too favorably. So you've got to put your money where your mouth is, so to speak. So our application indicates that. So it's here for council's review, approval of changes, and submission through the clerk's office once the resolution is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Loge. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Mr. Loge. The Palmer Brook, or the intersection of the Hampton Highway where they meet, was there anything in the application for lights for that corner? We've had quite a discussion about turning left and the accidents that have occurred there, and it'd be really nice to see a set of lights at that intersection.
Through Your Worship, the request includes a traffic analysis as part of the review. Ultimately, lights or any sort of traffic control will be subject to approval by the province because it still is their highway, it still is their land, their designated highway. So for us, what we've done is we've identified where we left off at the intersection with the Elliott, through that intersection with some level of traffic control. And during the review, it's anticipated we'll either be looking at intersection realignment or lights or some type of traffic control. As part of this year's summer package, council will be seeing the next little while as we get the painting done on the slip lane that we put into the Palmer Brook into the Elliott. We'll be looking at a reduced speed zone, taking that down to 70 through that area where those two intersections are, to see if that will assist with the traffic to a degree. So that should be anticipate that going down in the next little while.
Thank you, and follow-up, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Just a quick follow-up. So we've indicated, is it a 15% that we will contribute? I think it was that the percentage? It rather irks me that we have to pay for a provincial program for their highway if we want to get even a consideration that they may entertain fixing that stretch of the highway. I feel like I'm being held hostage. Either pay, put some money in, or you're not going to get it. So is it, I guess, I prefer not to have to put the money in, but I know it's a roll of the dice. I'm hearing from Mr. Loge, if we don't, chances are we're not going to get the any money. But I want it well noted that I don't think it's appropriate that we have to put the money in order to have our application looked at and approved.
And just on that note, this has been a concern with communities throughout New Brunswick that have provincial roads going through their communities that has been brought up many, many times at the Union Municipalities of New Brunswick, and I'm quite certain that it's on the list to be brought up again this year. So thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Miller, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Mr. Loge. I guess I have one question on how, if we can change this later if we don't get something. So I look at 2029, we're looking for $4.2 million for water main, which isn't covered. Before the last provincial election, we had at that time, our premier states come up before the election, said, hey, if you guys need money from me for water, let me know and I'll help you out. And it was a little too late because he's not there. We had Mr. Wayne Long come in front of us and do a video right out front here and say, I am going to give you the Housing Accelerator Fund, because everybody in New Brunswick got money from the feds except for us, and we were blue at that time. Now we're red. Even Rossay got $7 million before the election happened. So if we don't get any money from anybody yet again, and we've got, unless you can correct me, we've got zero from anybody in the last many, many years. Can we change 2029? Because trying to find another $4.2 million without any help from any level of government is kind of extreme on our budgets, knowing that we're going to be challenged with some of the RFC stuff, which I'll debate at a different day. So is there any wiggle room if we decide not to do 2029 if we don't get any funding? Thanks.
Through your worship, they do only look at 1 year at a time. We can change a priority, but it's going to be like next year. It'll be next year's decision to change your 29 priority. So we're not likely in 2027 to know if we're going to get funding in 2029. So that's the fly in the process that they've identified, is that you can't predict how far out somebody else is going to give you cash. All we can do is identify the placeholder. If for whatever reason we do not get additional funding or aren't in a position to approve that level of a capital program, we can defer the program and bump it out a year. All it means is that the Hampton Road, for example, is going to be delayed in its resurfacing. So the designated highway program, really all it looks at is that curb-to-curb improvements. So anything subsurface, any of the infrastructure, underground storm sewer, water main, sewer main improvements is really up to the municipality to undertake. And all they're doing is contributing the asphalt portion, essentially the asphalt portion of the project. So what we would be able to do, I guess, is look at the road conditions. Does it warrant that particular request of the province? For now, we've identified those as placeholders, identified a cash value to it. As we saw last year, we didn't get the Hampton Road intersection. We just pushed it ahead of year. It's playing by the rules that we have in front of us at this time. And unfortunately, that's the crystal ball that we all have. I'd be long since gone if I could have a crystal ball. I'd have a lot of numbers and everything else, and I think there'd be a lot of happy people, but we just can't predict it. So all we can do is defer it if we don't get the funding that we need.
Councillor Luck.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to, I think probably our CAO. Councillor Miller actually took my question because I had the same question around, some of the promises that were made during the election. And I guess I'm wondering, it's been now a number of months since our member of parliament has now been back in office. And I'm wondering if there's an opportunity to invite him to one of our council meetings so we can ask him about some of the needs that we have for our community and some of the, voiced support that he gave us during the election, because he did say that he would help with the water, and we know it's critically necessary for expansion of the town. So I think it would be prudent to invite him back and see if we could have a conversation in regards to accessing some of the funds that has inquired about. Thank you.
Thank you. The CAO and I have met with MP Long on a couple of occasions. We've also met with Don Darling, and I'm not sure of his title, however, he does work for MP Long. We heard from him as recently as last week, and he gave us an update that there's no new news. So there is nothing that they can tell us at this point. However, I will let Mr. Watson, if there's anything that I didn't say, that nothing from nothing is nothing, but that's basically what we've been told. So the money has been exhausted for the 26 budget, and we have to apply, as the Director of Engineering has said, for the 27 budget, and there are no promises. So we have been diligent as far as calling Mr. Long, calling Mr. Darling, checking up regularly, and meeting with them regularly. So if that is satisfactory, then we can have them here before you and have you address your questions to council. Mr. Watson.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Councillor Luck and to others, yeah, I would concur that there's been a sustained effort to maintain contact with both Mr. Long's office as well as at the provincial level. And we look forward to those conversations continuing, and perhaps there's an opportunity for us as council and senior staff just to explore the next steps with respect to those relationships, and to include an invitation to council as part of that equation. So I wouldn't necessarily think that's the only isolated thing that is appropriate at this point. I think some further conversation is definitely warranted, and certainly happy to facilitate those conversations. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Schreier.
Yes, Your Worship, I was just going to move that the document entitled Quispamsis 3-year plan for the PMHP program 2028 to 2030 be adopted.
Thank you. It's been moved by Deputy Mayor Schreier, seconded by Councillor Bigger on the question. Councillor Bigger. No, you're good. Please vote. Who?
Councillor Miller.
Councillor Miller, you're good? Motion carried 7-0. Thank you. Item B, tender number 2025 TQ08-15 Cedar Ridge Water Main Expansion Construction Proposal Award. Staff report from Director of Engineering and Works. Councillor Olson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'd move council approve the award of tender number 2025 TQ08-15 Cedar Ridge Water Main Expansion to Fairvale Construction Limited in the amount of $3,196,195, inclusive of HST, and that town staff and the consultant initiate meetings with the contractor to commence the project.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Olson, seconded by Councillor Donovan on the question. Please vote. Motion carried. Item C, tender number 2025 TQ08-16, Animal Control Services. Staff report from Director of Engineering and Works. Councillor Donovan.
Thank you. I'd move that council authorize staff to enter negotiations to formalize a contract in accordance with the Animal Control Services RFP number 2025 TQ08-16 with the NBSPCA for a base annual contract of $55,400.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Donovan, seconded by Councillor Bigger. On the question, Deputy Mayor Scryer.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted, if I could get some clarification on the wording base salary of 55,000. If that, I see here annual contract 55,400, and does that go up according to certain criteria? Thank you.
Thank you. Through your worship, yes. The contract, as you see under the financial component of the memo, it identifies that the contract is subject to a maximum increase annually of 2.5% or based on the consumer price index, whichever is less. So the starting annual contract is 55.4 plus the HST, and then next year's contract will go up the lesser of 2.5 or the CPI. It's the same terms that we had identified in our previous contract with NBSBCA. They started their base contract at the first contract was just shy of 43,000, ended up just at 55. So we would anticipate over this term of this contract, we'll see the same level of increases from a 55 in the final year, probably in the 67 range by the time we're finished.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Loge. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. On the question, please, Councillor Miller.
Thank you, Worship. I guess more of a comment, because I know in here it says online licensing may be a service the town would provide. I would very strongly try to do that, just because I can count the dogs in my neighborhood, and I know how many we have that are actually within the town that are registered, and I think, one, it's difficult for people to get here in person to do it, so if we can do everything online, your vet, you can fax in your rabies stuff and stuff like that. So the more we get online, the more people will adhere to the policy, but it's not that big of an issue then to pay your $20 to get your licensing. So online, I think if we can get that up and running, I think is fantastic. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Miller.
Yes, thank you, through your worship. As we recall, when we were looking at the changes to the contract, that was one of the things that we had asked council for some input into, and we have identified that. So in the proposal, there was a clause that we could investigate, and they've identified that they do have that service available. What we can do is, as part of the contract that we negotiate, look at an implementation schedule, a compensation component, and if council recall, it's also we have our own licensing concerns where we have already issued lifetime licenses, and how do we compensate those licenses under this program that NBSBC offers. But it is a program that has been identified that the intent is to follow through on that, through your worship. So
Thank you, Mr. Loge. On the question, please vote. Motion carried 7-0. Thank you. Item number 12 is reports. Federation of Canadian Municipalities Priorities for Budget 2025. That's there for your reading. Item number 13, business arising from Committee of the Whole. We will go back into committee now, or should we?
Yeah, we'll just, there's one more motion.
One more motion?
And then adjourn this.
Right. Oh, yes. Okay.
And then
Sorry
we'll
about that.
Take a little pause so Tim can switch the video.
Okay. Councillor Luck.
I'll move that council authorize the policy authority recommended by staff at the August 19th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting as amended, excluding committee member volunteers.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councillor Luck. Yes, Councillor Luck, and seconded by Councillor Miller. On the question. Seeing there are none, please vote. Motion carried 7-0. So we'll go for an adjournment and then reopen. So could I have an adjournment, please? Thank you, Councillor Olson. Seconded by Deputy Mayor Scryer. On the question, please vote. All those in favor, give me a thumbs up. Motion carried unanimously. Okay. You're okay? 10 seconds? 10 minutes. Oh, 10 minutes, okay. We're going to have 10 minutes before we're back up and running, so if anyone would like a health break, feel free.